New never wins. Okay, I'm going to be talking today about why people abandon working marketing strategies too early and the ultimate cost that they pay. And I mentioned to Murph at the beginning of the call that I'm going to kind of use him as a guinea pig. And this is not because Murph has done anything wrong or is doing anything wrong or is doing anything, that's going to hurt his business. It's just because he's the latest example of this, and I know he can take it. So we love you, Murph. What I want to talk about today is the core idea is that when we begin marketing, when we start with a new marketing process, this is how it always happens. Our new marketing process starts working. And the reason it starts working is because we scoop up the easy leads first. And what I mean by that is when we go to Facebook and we start running Facebook ads, people who didn't know we exist, who already buy a lot of other things, and Facebook knows that they buy a lot of other things, they see our ad. And these people are easy to convert. They are easy to win. And so they see our ad and they do what they always do in their lives with other products, is they jump in and they do it. And so we scoop up all the easy people first, and then it gets harder. The Facebook pixel, the Facebook algorithm starts adding your video and starts adding your content and starts adding your ads to a colder and colder traffic. And so the results always get harder. I'm going to tell you right now, it is so much fun to watch people go to Facebook ads and start their very first Facebook ads, because they can have a bad offer, a bad website, a bad sales process. And you know what? They usually win right off the bat, because there are people out there that will buy no matter how difficult and how bad your process is. They're still going to buy. But harder doesn't mean broken. Harder means that your skill level needs to level up in accordance to how difficult it is for you to maintain and for you to go to those colder audiences. So what most people do when those items get harder, when those ads don't work like the first week or month or 2 months that they launched, what most people do is they feel the resistance. They feel their ads start to slow down. They feel their cost per acquisition start to increase. They feel things start to get less profitable and their margins start to collapse and start to shrink. And so they assume that the system has stopped working. They assume that the problem is the algorithm or the vertical or the method, and they start looking for an easier way to get new leads. They start looking for that initial high. This is an emotional response. We start looking, when we first go to Facebook ads and we start to win, we have an emotional high. We're like, our business is fixed, our problems are solved, we're gonna take over the world, we're gonna make millions of dollars. And then what happens is all those easy leads get more difficult. And so what we start to do is we look for an easier way, but what we're really looking for is we're looking for that emotional high again. We're looking for that emotional high where we have experienced a win. And because the leads have just gotten harder to convert and we just need to get more skilled at it, we continue to jump from easier way to easier way. We get distracted by what I call the lady in the red dress. And what I'm referring to in this is the lady in the red dress from the scene in The Matrix. This is one of my all-time favorite scenes, and I think about this all the time in marketing. The lady in the red dress, we've got this distraction element where the Matrix guy, his name is Neo. Yes, Neo, and he's walking along with his mentor, and his mentor is, giving him the rundown, and all of a sudden this beautiful woman in a red dress comes by, and Neo turns and looks, and this is that famous moment where he gets distracted. And what happens is the red dress scene is really about that distraction. It's that our focus gets pulled away from the real mission that we're on, and something shiny gets our attention, a new tool, a new method, a new funnel, a new whatever, right? And so we stop watching the real threat, which is what that scene was about. And in business, this is what we do is we see this new concept and we think, holy smokes, I'm so excited about this new idea. This is going to solve all my problems. And really what we're doing is we're saying, this is what's going to get me to that emotional high that I was on when I started to win with the easy leads. But the real problem is the system was working. The easy wins dried up. The market got more tough. It got more difficult for you to do this. So in a response to that, our response should be that we level up our skill. Instead of leveling up, though, people reset. And what I mean by reset is that people go to a brand new set of skills. Okay, so Murph's example, Murph, thank you for taking one for the team here. He had a Facebook ad, a landing page, a sign-up system, and a standard conversion funnel on Facebook, and it worked. His first classes were full. And it felt like, to all of us, the problem is solved. We fixed it forever. It's now something that we can just let it ride. And the thing was, the skills that Murph needed to get started to learn to get that off the ground was that he needed to start learning video editing. Then he needed to start learning script writing. So he would have a script to speak. Then he would start writing landing page creations and start writing copy on the landing page. And he needed to create an offer. And then he needed to create the Facebook ad inside of Facebook Ads Manager. He needed to create the automation in Momentum HQ. He needed to create the Facebook the conversion pixel, and he needed to set up conversion tracking. And he learned all of those skills in order to make his funnel work. And so when it happened, Murph scooped up all of the easy leads, and then the lead quality got harder. And this will always happen. What it costs us to acquire a customer today is always less expensive than what it's going to cost us to acquire a customer tomorrow or next week. Your cost per acquisition will always, always rise. It will always be more expensive tomorrow than it was today, next year than it was this year. Always. That is the rule of business. So the results for Murph were not as easy to get as they were when he first launched. And this was the moment where Murph should double down and get better. And he did. He made a bunch of Christmas ads. It was great. But the funnel was not dead. The easy leads were gotten. And so Murph attended a couple of seminars and saw a different model that is definitely working. I mean, I'm not questioning whether or not that model is working. I am not questioning whether that's a good model or not. I actually think that this model that Murph learned about, he learned about a model where people are using Facebook lead ads instead of a direct conversion ad, a lead ad. So somebody submits a form on Facebook, and then the idea is we call them within 1 minute, which is, I mean, it sounds really difficult to do, but if you organize your business around calling within 1 minute, it just becomes a standard business operating procedure anyway, and it's just part of what you do. And this, I can tell you right now, this system does work. It does work. I've used it in the past. It does work. So in this particular seminar, it was a different business model where we create lead form ads and then fast phone follow-up. We pre-sell the lead over the phone and then either convert the lead over the phone into a sale, or we create that session into a in-person where we can close upwards of 35% in person, okay? The hidden trap of this, because that funnel system does work, but the hidden trap is that this new way that Murph is going to be doing, and all the power to you, I want you to try it. The new way is not going to remove the difficulty of difficult leads. It's not going to solve the problem. The new way is going to just move your difficulty. So we had a certain way of difficulty in the first funnel system. Now we're going to have a whole new set of challenges in this new funnel. So Murph is not going to be switching to an easier system. He's going to be switching to an unfamiliar system. And this is why that matters, okay? This is why that matters. The new skills that this new model require, right? So every time we change our method, every time we follow the shiny object syndrome and we install a new marketing tool or try a new software or try a new sales script or try a new sales process or a new lead generation system, right? Every single time we try a new model, right, we have to learn those new skills that we didn't have before. So the new skills is that he's going to need to learn how to connect Facebook leads to Momentum HQ. Big problem. Shawnee went through it. Shawnee, I believe, backed off this particular method, but this is exactly what Shawnee did for a long time. He's going to need to learn how to create his business into a speed to lead operation business where he literally does call within 1 minute, because just talking specifically about Facebook lead ads, the reason that I don't teach those as a primary method is because the quality of the lead that comes through is much less quality. So when you make it easier for people to become a lead, easier for them to give you their name, email, phone number, the people that come through are less quality. When you make it harder for people to give you their name, email, and phone number, the people who come through are higher quality because they want it more. And you'll get more if you make it easier and less if you make it harder. But in my business, I make it very difficult for people to become a lead. In fact, in order for people to become a lead in my business, they've got to buy my book. They are not a lead for me until they buy my software. And the reason that I have them buy my book before they're a lead is because they've just demonstrated to me that they're willing to open their wallet, invest in their business, and spend time to learn, because ultimately I'm a teacher, right? And if they're willing to read a book, then they're willing to learn, right? And so for me, that's how difficult it is for them to become a lead for me. I don't want easy people to come through. I want to make it very difficult so that the people that come through are high quality. So then we need to get advanced at phone skills and level up our business and phone skills, or level up our skills in phone sales. Then level up our skills in first touch call skills, our lead quality scoring and Momentum HQ, and have much stronger automation skills, right? So those are, and then we need to deal with phone objection handling, which if we're having somebody sign up through the website, we don't have phone objection handling right now. We need to deal with appointment setting if they're going to come in person. This is a new skill set on the phone. No-show reduction if they sign up for the appointment in person and don't show up. Voicemail strategy if we call at first touch and they don't answer their phone. SMS follow-up strategy if we're following up with an SMS if they don't answer. Multi-touch follow-up sequences and automation. Pipelines, you get it, right? So each one of these is a new skill that the initial funnel didn't need. And so even more new skills, CRM, hygiene, calendar, you guys kind of get it. Like, a lot of new skills are required to try this new funnel. And what this means is Murph has already paid to learn. And what I mean by that is Murph already spent the time and money investing in a skill set to get his original funnel off the ground. Video creation, script creation, video filming, editing, landing page, automation, boom, done. So now he's going to have to learn this other new machine. And when he moves over to this new machine, his skill set is going to reset because he hasn't done the repetition it takes over and over and over to try out this new skill set. And so his new skills will be starting at ground zero or close to it by implementing new rather than more, right? And so that means more time to scale this thing up and perfect each one of the systems, right? He has to get better at phone objection handling. He has to get better at appointment setting. He has to get better at no-show reduction and voicemail strategy and SMS follow-up. All the things that he wouldn't have had to do in funnel one. In funnel one, he needs to get better at his video ads and his script creation and his landing page and his offer and his automation. The things that he already learned to get that first funnel working, right? And so that's the challenge of going to new, is that it means more time, more mistakes, more learning, and more starting from zero. So every time we follow the lady in the red dress, we again start from zero with our skills or close to it. Because obviously Murph has a ton of skills closing in the gym business. I mean, he's got one of the best gyms in Massachusetts, there's no question. And he got there with the skills that he has, right? So I'm not saying that Murph has zero skills. I'm just saying when we go to a new system, we have to learn those skills from zero. So the problem is, and I repeat this in business all the time, is that in business, we have unlimited choices. We can literally do whatever we want. None of them is a bad answer. None of them is a wrong answer. We can literally do whatever we want. But we have to weigh that scale with our limited resources. Because although we have an unlimited amount of choices, we only have a certain amount of time in the day. We only have certain people on our team. We only have a certain amount of money and a certain amount of time in order to implement the choices that we make. So we have unlimited strategies, unlimited gurus, unlimited software, unlimited options, but our time is limited, our energy is limited, our money is limited, and our attention is limited. And because of that limitation, the cost of switching is high. Because you lose momentum, you lose repetition, you lose the earned competence of the skills that you already generated to get where you were. You lose compound improvement, which means if I make a video today, like just me alone, right? For January and February, I tried to spend as much money on marketing as I could. And I went from spending $5,000-ish on Facebook ads to spending over $20,000 in January. And in February, I doubled down and I spent close to $30,000 in January. And what I noticed was not only did my cost per acquisition go higher, which means I was selling a book for like between $20 and $60. So every time I have a Facebook ad, I spend $20 to $60 to sell a book. I was selling a book for like, in my cost per acquisition on a book went from like 20 to 60 to like $120, $200, $300, $500 to sell one book. And the reason is because my ads suck. The reason is because I've gotten really, really, really good at scaling to a particular audience. And so when you're spending money on Facebook, let me grab my pen over here. So when you're spending on Facebook, I want you to imagine a target, okay? And just like a shooting target. So when you're spending money on Facebook, okay, if I'm spending $25 a day, I'm hitting this audience over and over and over. These are the warmest potential leads that there are. So spending $25 a day, guess what, guys? I'm spending $25 a day again, and I'm winning. My cost per acquisition went from $500 per book sale to $20 this week because I scaled my ads back down. But when you advance your ads, let's say we go to $100, we're now in a colder sphere of audience, and it requires more skill, a better offer, better skills to convert them into sales. And then we go to $200 a day, and we're at an even colder audience. And then we go to $500 a day, and we're at an even colder audience. And even my skills right now, as we sit in January and February, are not good enough for me to sell my book to this audience, or this audience. The only way that I'm winning with my book is this audience right here. And because I've been in Zoom all the time for all year, I haven't had a lot of time to make videos. It's like the last priority that I have. You can ask my video editor, Nobi, it's like 3 days a week, he doesn't even have videos to edit, and yet I pay him to work because I haven't had time to get in front of the camera and do it. And I certainly hadn't had time to add to that new skill level. And so what I'm saying is, what I need to do in my business is not try a new way to sell the book. I need to get better at selling the book because I've already invested in the skills that I need to dominate this market right here and this audience right here. And so now I need to get so good at my videos and so good at my landing page and my offer that I can win on this audience. And then I'm going to win on this audience. And then I'm going to win on this audience until every single gun store and every single shooting range and every single firearm instructor in this country either has this book or has decided not to buy it. And until that moment happens, I'm not going to change course because I think that we have a great story to tell and a great process. And we need to get better and better and better at our skill in order to make that happen. And so, the lesson today is by no means telling Murph not to go and do this new funnel. My method today, or my message today, is that what we should do as businesses is understand why something stopped working. Usually it's a cold leads. Why did the easy leads dry up? Do I really need a new strategy, or do I need a better offer? Do I need a better way to present that offer because all of those people dried up, right? Or am I making a smart pivot, or am I escaping discomfort? Like, that's what we need to do. So my point is, most people kind of pivot right when things get tough. What I'm going to do with my business is I'm going to get better at my ads. I'm going to get better at my offer. I'm going to get better at telling that offer and better at expressing pain points, the things that I teach you guys to do. And the reason that your guys' funnels work, the reason the new Shooter Accelerator works when we launch it, is because I spent years and years and years off, creating that offer. And I've run it myself. And that's how I know it works. And so you guys are getting an offer that took years of suffering to figure out that it works. And so, my message to you is stay the course, double down on skills, get more skills in what you're doing now. Watch out for the lady in the red dress.